Let's look at the tipping culture one first. This is fast.
Tipping. A generous act of courtesy you do when you're more than satisfied with the service you were provided. And you give the
you have to do it every time now. And if you don't, the delivery driver just doesn't show up. You only gave him $3. Yeah, well, you're only going to get nothing.
them a little extra money. Usually you give these to your servers at restaurants, your barber, and strippers, just as a way of telling them you're doing a good job. Go get yourself a nice pair of undies. And this overall thing is practiced all around the world. It's not exactly a foreign concept for anybody. Tipping is a normal thing.
Okay.
But no place on earth lets it give out the tip more than the US of A. We go.
And I do think, yeah, you're definitely right. People in chat, in many places, tipping is not only not accepted or not the norm, but it's seen as an insult, as if like, oh, you need this money because you're a loser. I think that's the culture in Japan, for example. So there are actually many places in the world where tipping is not the norm. I think that actually, I don't know this. I'm just like kind of like ballparking it. It seems like there are more places where tipping is not the culture than it is the culture.
X Games mode with the tipping over here, because we be giving everybody tips. We tip our delivery drivers, taxis, bellhops, housekeeping, house movers, bartenders. If you're in
like the way that I look at tipping, this is whenever I tip people, is that the only time I really ever tip people is if they're doing something that is incredibly personalized, like a haircut. And I think that, like, you know, the value of that is a little bit more determined. Like, it's like a little bit more flexible. Or if it's like at a restaurant. Like, I have no problem personally tipping people because I have a lot of money, and so it's not a big deal. So I'll tip people all the time. But, like, whenever I didn't have any money, I didn't really tip anybody.
In service, then most likely you accept tips. Even my homie's last job at the gas station where he just pumped people's gas, he got over $100 in tips in one day.
That's a lot.
I didn't even know people tip for that. We love to tip everybody except the homeless. But has it gone too far? Let me go off real quick. But
that was a good one. Man, bro, he didn't even, that was so good. We tip everybody except the homeless. That's so fucking good. And we just got this, we're just skipping over that? That was, oh man.
I've been seeing tipping options where I've never seen them before. Like counter services, you know, cashiers.
Yeah.
I've never heard of tipping cashiers, but those blue blocks on the iPad beg to differ. One time.
Have you guys ever seen a cashier, like whenever you go to a grocery store and there's a tip pad? I've never seen that personally. I go grocery shopping pretty regularly. Yeah, I've never seen it personally.
I went to a concert and I went to the merch booth. I got a hoodie, bro handed me the hoodie, then turned around his iPad for a tip. Now I know these people.
There's no way. Like, have you guys had that happen? I've never had that happen. Maybe it's in like a lot, like way smaller stores that are like boutique stores, and like I never go there. Is that legit? Like you get those at like what the fuck? I haven't been to a concert in years. That's cooked, yeah. Actually, real dude, because like I always viewed like buying merchandise as a tip. That's why I say, like, you know, if you want to support OTK, you can buy a shirt or a hoodie. Like, that is the fucking tip. What do you mean? Because, like, guys, listen. The fucking video game streamer merch it's an upcharge. It is. You're paying more for the brand and to support the brand and the people that are behind it. So, like, that is the tip. Buying it is the tip. It's just you tip the org and then, or tip the streamer, and then you get a shirt out of it. Like, you don't tip you don't tip for the privilege of being able to give a tip. What? It's crazy.
Bro, don't get paid too well, but what in that interaction concurred a tip? Did he slip me a $100 bill in a hoodie that I didn't see? I don't think so. No. So, nah, I don't think I'm going to tip. But I would usually see these in local businesses most of the time, so that's all fine and dandy. But I've heard Starbucks is also doing tips. Now, I don't really go to Starbucks.
Really? Is that true? Starbucks is doing tips? I like, last time I went to Starbucks, it was like meet some fucking money manager or some shit. This was like 3 years ago. I didn't even buy anything. Fuck that. Shit's expensive. Do Starbucks people, did they get paid an actual wage, or are they getting paid like 3 peanuts and a hot dog? They get paid? Okay, yeah, so they do get paid a wage. Okay.
Starbucks because it's just not for me. I like my coffee a certain way. I like my coffee how I like my men. Long, black, and Vietnamese. And no offense to you Starbucks employees out there, but I'ma treat y'all like McDonald's and Burger King. Like, why would I tip the drive-through cashier? That just sounds unnecessary. And as long as those restaurants are not asking for tips, then I'm never gonna tip. Don't get no ideas, please.
Well, I mean, I think that, like, really, it's like just because somebody asks for a tip doesn't mean you have to give them a tip. Like, tipping a barista is normal, like tipping a waiter? No, it's not. I don't think it's normal because it's fundamentally different, because a barista is being paid a livable wage, a minimum wage, that is not, like, they are not being paid with the intent. No, it's not. It's not normal. Yeah, I didn't think so. Like, they're not being, like, tipping people is normal in, like, let's say getting a haircut. It's tipping is normal whenever you go to a sit-down restaurant and people bring you your food. That's it. As you're tipping for haircuts? Yeah. Sometimes if I get a good haircut, yeah, I give them a bit more. Yeah, if it's like 15, well, I haven't gotten a haircut in like 3 years, right? So, like, $15 now is like $300 now. You know, it was like 15 or 18 bucks. I give them 20. It's like, yo, there you go. Like, I appreciate it, man. And that's it. I'm done.
However, I understand why these workers would want a tip, though. They work low-wage jobs, and sometimes they got families to take care of at home. So a tip or two would make their lives a little bit easier.
Well, wouldn't it just make anybody's life easier? I mean, like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like who... Like, you think that the people that are working at McDonald's are, like, any different than the people that are working at a construction crew or working at a Walmart? These people are working their ass off no matter what. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, oh, well, you know, you're doing this, so it's like, is it special? Fuck no, it's not special. Like, everybody works their fucking ass off. Or at least a lot of people do.
I'm selfish. I'm not trying to tip at Wendy's, bro. But I know that day will eventually come. I can smell it. This is the U.S. We'll somehow incorporate tipping into everything. So the employers can justify why they're paying their employees minimum wage. And whenever someone doesn't tip, they get mad at us instead of the...
This dude was fucking pissed. I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip. Yeah, I know. You shouldn't have gotten shit. They give you $5 for free. You're going to cry about it.
Business that's giving them a non-living wage. That's why tipping is super pushed. So restaurants, for example, can pay their waiters low salaries to encourage them to aim for tips. So
one of the cute things about this is that the origin of tipping, guess what the origin of tipping is in America? It was this really crazy thing that we had called slavery. Yeah. So, like, basically, they would give ex-slaves money as tips. Yeah. Isn't that cool? That's the system that people are fighting to uphold. A vestige of slavery.
Workers had to be as upstanding, top of their tippy toes, holly jolly of a worker as possible to try to get ends meet. So the customer can walk away feeling happy about their experience, the owner of the restaurant being happy because of the profit and good look of the business, while the waiters walk away with a $2 tip and food stamps for a salad.
It's a $2.14. You know, that's the amount of money. Some places I work at restaurants, they get paid like $5-7 an hour, which is nothing. They get paid with tips, so it's not the same as a McDonald's worker for whatever. I get paid $14 an hour, and they got paid $5 an hour. What the fuck does that have to do with me? What the fuck is the restaurant paying? What does that have to do with me? I don't understand. Nothing. You be empathetic? Well, why can't they be empathetic to you? Who says that you've got money to burn? Who says this isn't the only time in the whole month that you can afford to go out to eat? You got like 3 kids. Like what is empathy goes both ways. The only difference is that you're not going in there asking them to foot the bill for your bad life decisions. You work as a fucking waiter. You sign a contract to work for $2. You signed up for this. Nobody signed you up for this. You're not a slave. It's so short-sighted. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. Don't make bad life decisions and do things that you don't want to do. Can you supplement my income, please, sir? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Or at least that's just my theory, my game theory. Now, people that have never had a job might say, ain't that a good thing? It makes the waiters actually try to do their job well, bro. Ain't nobody want to work minimum wage, period, bro, in this economy. Doesn't matter if I'm getting tips. All it takes is one bad day of penny pinching tips to be like, well, Scoob, I guess we have to eat whatever's in the fridge tonight. Yep. I should know. I used to be a waiter. I was a waiter for weddings and other events in my late senior year, and my wage was decent, $15 an hour, and for a high school student, that's pretty good. Plus, I only worked on the weekends. Man, this job was gonna be a breeze. But that was only because I was a kid. I ain't need that much in the first place. All I thought is, if I can afford food, so. But to spoil the fun, most of the time, I did not get any tips or very little tips. And 95% of my...
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the way it is. People don't have choices. What if you're born into poverty? Capitalism oppresses us all, pitting us against each other. Okay, then that's the government's responsibility. It's not some other random person's responsibility. Then go get mad at the government, because the government are the ones that make this decision. Like, it's the government's fault that you're getting paid $2. It's not the company's fault. The company's just following the rules. It's not the customer's fault. The customer's just living their life. Then go over to the fucking Capitol building and stop complaining about tips. You just completely fucking misunderstand. It's not a company's responsibility to provide like some sort of like livable world for just people at large. A company's responsibility is to provide a product, and a government's responsibility is to provide a livable world. So focus on what matters. I don't want to fucking look. I don't want to have, you know, I don't want to have a world where people are expecting Microsoft and McDonald's to throw out lifelines and take care of people. You see how fucking unhealthy that is? That's such a bad idea. I can't believe anybody just gets fucking hoodwinked by this. You should be getting mad at the government. It's the government's fault. They wrote the rules. If other countries can make it so tipping isn't a thing, then why can't America do it? Because people in America are stupid. That's the reason. That's the reason. And it's actually really not any more complicated than that. So the problem with tipping culture is that it is a culture. If everybody decided tomorrow, we're not going to tip anymore, ayo, fuck that shit, then the entire system would change. But the problem is that people are so afraid of being seen in a social negative light that they give their own hard-earned money away just to avoid that uncomfortability. And that is how people get taken advantage of. And you know what I think? I think they're pathetic for letting it happen. You are a grown-ass fucking man. You are a grown-ass fucking woman. You need to make your decisions for yourself and stop trying to live your life in order to appeal to people that literally want to take your money away. Get the fuck out of here. This is a problem that can be immediately solved with the culture. The culture is what needs to change. Like, the laws will reflect the culture. The problem is that this is the worst fucking thing. I watched another video about this. I said it in the other video. The people that love tips are middle class people that pray to God every fucking day and thank God every fucking day they're not living in the projects. People that are very wealthy either tip or they do not. It depends on whatever. But it is always these middle class people that are always shitting on the lower class for not being able to afford to tip. That's where it comes from. It's pathetic. The weak minds are easily controlled. They are. And that's why we have the tipping culture.
Gigs was at weddings, so the food was already paid for. I was giving these niggas free food, and I got nothing. And I was always all nice and shit. I was never mean. I was all like, hello, hot diggity day, what would you lovely people like to have? I thought I was doing a good job. I even shaved off my hair to be more presentable, which is something I still regret to this day. Don't cut the hair you love for no jobs. Unless it look like this. You might get no job with that. Okay, I did get tips sometimes. The biggest tip I've ever gotten was $40 from a table of old white women and a gay dude. And from then on, they became my target audience. I'd always pick the table with the gay niggas, because I know they'd give me the biggest tip. And me complaining about small tips might sound like a trivial problem, but I'm talking about like in the grand scheme of things of this kind of job. Like if I was an adult with this job paying bills, taxes, rent, all that. I could not live like this. I know this because I had coworkers in their late 20s, 30s, 40s who said they couldn't take care of themselves with this wage.
Then what are you doing with the fucking job? What are you doing, man? You're in your 30s. What the fuck you been doing the last 10 years of your life? Holy shit. What the fuck are you doing? It's you, yeah. Playing video games? That's fine. That's fine. The thing is, listen. It's totally okay to be in a bad position, but the problem is whenever you blame somebody besides yourself. Sometimes there are people who are in bad positions as a result of their own actions. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's why they sold drugs on the side. That's why we should hold these businesses accountable to have higher wages for their employees so they don't have to rely on tips anymore. We must rock.
Thank you so fucking much. That is exactly it. Yep.
Eyes against this corrupt business practice.
Yep.
Who's with me?
Yep. Yep.
Hey, you're just saying this because you just don't want to pay tips no more.
Yeah, true. Yo, fuck that shit. That's stupid. Yep. That's right.
Well, duh. I don't like tipping.
Exactly.
Who does? Who wants to pay more of their own money when they don't have to? I'm not a misogynist, a masochist. Wrong word. I am the other one. I'm not saying I don't tip. I do. But mainly because I want to at least try to balance out my good deeds with my bad ones when I'm in the pearly gates. I'm not trying to go to hell because I didn't tip my IHOP waitress who so happened to be battling cancer and diabetes that one time. I'm trying to get to heaven. But if I gave zero, darns, dangs, or I would almost never tip. I would look at the bill, then pay the bill, then end it there. I
think that, that's what you should do if you don't have the money to tip. I think that if you want to tip, that's totally fine. Good for you, right? You're going to help the dude out. That's nice. But you should never feel like you have to tip. Anybody that tells you that you have to tip, say, fuck you, bitch. You don't control me. I don't know you. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you think. That's it. You an NPC. So if you don't want to tip, don't do it. And if somebody gets pissed off about it, who gives a fuck what they think? It doesn't matter what they think. Nobody cares.
Tip if I received outstanding service, because most services nowadays are just average, regular stuff, nothing to point out. But you still,
that's all I want, by the way. Like, there are sometimes like I've had to get an Uber like from an airport or something, and like if the dude doesn't talk to me, I'll give him $5.
Supposed to tip. In a perfect world, I would only tip if the person is enthusiastically nice. Fast service, give me a back massage, and also pay for my food. Then I'll tip. I can understand tipping delivery drivers because they also need the money to pay for their gas, but that can go with the higher wage argument that I said earlier. And if they show up mad late, then I don't have to tip them. We should bring back the 30 minutes or less, or the food is free rule. I'd start ordering food from.
I don't want to see that. No, like I guess he's goofing out. Man, I remember I watched that movie. Holy fuck. That was a long time ago. It was like 2009.
Russia on purpose. Save myself a stack. And like I said earlier, I know these people need these tips to survive. I know they have mouths to feed. I know. I feel you.
So do homeless people. So do everybody else. You think that the waiters are the only people that are struggling? There's people that are struggling all over the place. Teachers get paid shit for money too. Like, what about them? Like, I think that you need teachers a lot fucking more than you need waiters. You want me to start feeling sorry for a person who walks food around? Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on.
Feel you. But in the back of my mind, I know I have mouths to feed too. My own mouth. And tipping is slowly taking that away from me. Now I'm gonna starve. And remember earlier when I said tipping is not a foreign concept? Well, apparently it is to most countries. Every time I look in the comment section for a post regarding tipping.
What's this graph?
It's to most
yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah, they don't do it like, I don't know what this thing is either, honestly. But like, yeah, they don't tip in most of these places. Mexico? Yeah, pretty much.
countries. Every time I look in the comment section for a post regarding tipping, 90% of the comments will be from foreigners saying, well, over here in Timbuktu, Jumanji land, we never even heard of tipping. I didn't even know Jumanji was a real place, but it sounds like heaven if they don't tip. And it makes me think the people of the U.S. here are purposely fucking me with this tipping shit. It's to be expected we tip.
Well, if you receive extra, so 20% is customary. That's a lot. I mean, I think that the reason why is that the U.S. has like I don't know. I hear it's a problem in like places like South Korea too, like being extremely materialistic. Again, this is just secondary, but because the U.S. is so materialistic and so conspicuous about being materialistic, I think that's what causes so much of this stuff. Because now it's like tipping is not only about being able to, like pay into this wage. It's also about being able to show that you have money. At this point, you're going to buy something, you have to add the tipping amount? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, like, it's crazy. You travel to Korea, Japan at least once? Yeah, it's crazy in Canada too? Wow. Bro, if you go out and pay for a $200 family meal, you have to pay a $40 tip? Fuck off. You don't have to do anything. What do you mean? Who said you have to do shit? I used to have a whole thing that I would do whenever I didn't have a lot of money is if they ever fucking made me tip, I would steal the silverware to make back the money. Fuck them, man. They're gonna goof me around like that.
20 to 25% of the bill here. You have a better chance pulling a gun on me and robbing me because that's the only way you're gonna get that much money out of me. And I've been seeing news reports about how there's a spread of self-checkout machines with tipping options.
No shot. Like what? Wait, where do self-checkout tips go? Wait, what the fuck? This is real? Oh my god. I just fuck all this. Like, what the fuck? What is going on? You know what? I gotta go to a Whole Foods. Maybe they got some stupid shit over there.
Who the hell am I tipping? Mr. and Mrs. Walmart themselves? Yep. Why they need my money? Why they need a tip? Any self-checkout tipping machine out there could suck the tip of my pee-pee. That's what you could do. And like I said earlier, I do tip my delivery drivers and waiters. I do. But I hate tipping. I bloody hate it. If I could abolish it, I would. I hate it.
So this guy's having a good time. He's having a real one. I don't think that they should abolish tipping at all. I think that it's a cultural problem. I do. I don't think that, like, I do think that, like, legally you should make it to where you have to pay a livable wage or a minimum wage. Like, what the difference between those two things are is debatable, right? But you should have to pay minimum wage for every job, basically. And if a business can't make money by paying a minimum wage, then they can't afford to be in business. That's just how it is, in my opinion. So I think that's number one. Number two, I don't think that it should be illegal to ask for a tip at all. I don't think so. I just think that people need to develop, the culture needs to evolve to where that's not an expectation. And people need to stand up for themselves, have self-respect, and learn to say no. This is not a problem that you can legislate away. I don't want to just legislate it away, because there are instances whenever somebody, like, for example, like I had a dude come by, and he was an electrician, and they fixed a lot of my shit, and I gave them like $200 extra because they did something that I didn't like. It wasn't really agreed on, but it was just something that had a lot of value to me, and I gave them that money because it was like whatever. And also I liked them, bro. He was like there like the next day, so it's like, of course I'm gonna give you money, of course, because I want you to be there the next day, the next time, right? Like, this is just a situation. But like, I don't think that this needs to be legislated. This needs to be a cultural change.
I know it's the right thing to do, or at least I was raised to believe. Yeah, sure. If I don't tip my waiters, I'm a which I don't really believe now, but I begrudgingly admit tipping won't kill me, so I still tip. How much I tip? None of your beeswax. And even though I tip most of the time, I'm not gonna tell y'all you should tip. You could do whatever you want with the money you've earned. Like
that's the thing is like people. It's like I have no problem with people that want to make their own decision, but the problem is whenever people want to make somebody else's decision.
Could be spending my money on helping the children in Africa and building houses there. But how else am I supposed to pay for my drip? I need money for my clothes, man. Those kids in Africa, they're not gonna pay for me. But yeah, those are my thoughts on tipping. Employees need better pay, so I can stop paying. And in conclusion,
element of surprise. Did you pray today?
Okay, this is a good video. I liked it. I mean, like, obviously, people have a lot of really strong opinions about this, especially people that used to work in food service, etc. They feel like they're entitled to getting tips. And I think that really the solution to that is to say, no, bitch, you're not. Nope, I'm not about it. You think that you are? You're not. You live off tips? I understand that you think that you're smart. I get it. And I'm really sad to see that. But it's actually quite the opposite. I used to make money off of tips, and I turned off donations because they were fucking annoying. People kept donating $3 to get me to read their stupid joke or talk about their fucking stream, and I said no. I don't want to do it anymore. Maybe I'll turn them back on at some point if I'm trying to raise money for something or I feel like it. I think it'll be better for the content. I just turned them off. I didn't make it a big deal. I didn't talk about how much I cared about ethical consumption because I don't give a fuck about that. It's just annoying to me. You have to appreciate you're in a different position than a waiter, though? What the fuck I give a shit about a waiter's position? What's that got to do with me? You think I give a fuck about them? They don't give a fuck about me. It's not my responsibility. Why would I give a fuck about their problems? You think they care about everybody that comes into the building? Some construction worker comes in there and they work their fucking ass off. They've got health problems because they're fucking breathing in limestone and different unhealthy chemicals. You think I give a fuck about that? Zero empathy, bro. It's the opposite. I have a lot of empathy for them. That's why I don't want to see this happen. I don't think this is good for them either. Not disagreeing. I'm just saying you might have a different point of view in their shoes. Of course I would. What do you tell you? What like, do you think this is some kind of like divine insight that if you needed money, you would care about money more? Of course that's fucking true. You stupid? No fucking shit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if I needed money, I would care more about getting money. Wow, why didn't I think of that? Why are you shaming someone for taking an unskilled job instead of being homeless? The government needs to step in, but there are some people born in unfortunate circumstances. What circumstance is somebody born into? Like, I'm sure that there are instances where this is the case. But what the fuck are we talking about somebody who's 30 years old that's doing this? What have they did the last 10 years of their life? I guarantee, I know people that I went to high school with. I've seen them grow up. I've seen them live their life. And a lot of them just fuck around. They fuck around. They don't do anything to improve their life. They don't care. And that's all there is to it. These are grown-ass fucking adults. These are not people that have like a crippling disability. They're not people who, their house burned down. They're just lazy morons. And that's the majority. Of course, everybody's heart goes out to somebody who is crushed under the waves of circumstance. Absolutely. But let's not go and pretend that's the majority. The majority of people are people that make bad decisions with their own life, and then they have to live with those decisions, and they want everybody else in the world to say sorry for it. These are people who skip school constantly, didn't give a fuck about learning, didn't want to learn any sort of thing that provided any value to anybody else, and then they think that it's their fault, it's the world's fault that they have no value. There's no accountability. You live in a fucking first world country. You have access to MIT level education from the internet that I guarantee you all these fucks that are complaining about this have a smartphone, especially if you're sitting here in my chat at 2 in the morning. If you've got enough time to sit there, own a fucking PC or a smartphone to watch an internet stream about a video game at 2 in the morning, you're going to tell me that you don't have it good? You've got it so fucking good you have no idea. There's people that live in Africa that just die. You have access to any level of education that you want in the whole world. You can do anything. You can learn anything you want. You have more access to education than nobility had 500 years ago. You want to cry about circumstances. Yeah, there's always going to be an exception. But the odds are your lazy ass isn't it. I used to be a lazy piece of shit. And the reason why I didn't have a job is because I set my availability to during the raid times. And I didn't want to have to wake up early. And you know what? They never called me back. And that's my fault. I did that. They didn't do that. Society didn't do that. I did. I'm not talking down. I'm speaking from experience.